All right. So we're starting piece by piece. We're going to add on a little bit of the beginning to trig. First thing we need to talk about though, we're going to be measuring angles. And in trig, they talk about angles by using Greek symbols. Now, here's why. Because sides, like sides to an angle or sides to a triangle, they usually use letters, X, Y, Z, or A, B, C. For angles, they use these Greek symbols. So I want to make sure you know what these symbols are since they're going to be using them a lot. All right, this first one here, or some of y'all could probably tell me, what's that symbol?
Theta.
Theta, very good. So this is theta, and I'm going to write it out to the side in my handwriting because that looks a little bit harsh right there. Really, theta has a little more curve to it than that shows. So I'm going to give my version of each one since the type's a little, All right. Their favorite to use is theta. Their second favorite is this one. What do you say this one is?
Alpha.
Alpha. Very good. Very good, little girl. And my alpha looks more like that. A fish. It is. All right. So what would this one be? Beta. Very good. So. Yep. All right, beta in my handwriting looks kind of just like that, about the same. All right, and the last one, they don't use that much. It's gamma, like a gamma ray, yeah. And here's how it has more of a opening right there that you can't see up here. So it's kind of like the fish turn that way. So. All right, so here's the favorite, here's the second favorite, and then these two maybe every now and then, but they love these two when they talk about angles. Okay, so now let's look at angles. There's a couple of ways they'll talk about them. I want to make sure you understand what they're saying. All right, so in this first one up here, when you start an angle, you start at this flat side here. And they refer to that as the initial side. The initial side, because that's where you begin. So that is where we start. And then based on this arrow here, it's opening up. So you open up and you stop, and wherever you stop is the terminal side. Makes sense, because terminal means stop. All right, so they use those words a lot. This is not me just saying, oh, here's some words. They'll use these. They'll say, the terminal side lies in the third quadrant, blah, 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 blah. They use it, so that's all they mean. All right, here's something else they do a lot. If I'm an angle that's opening up, I'm a positive angle. In other words, counterclockwise motion is positive to us. If I'm opening down clockwise, that's a negative angle. That matters. When we get into this stuff, it matters if you're positive or negative. So direction is important. So they'll tell you, they'll show you the arrow. They'll have to. You'll have to know. All right. So there's two ways that we can measure these angles. One way you're very familiar with is degrees. That's what you've done always when you've talked about angles. You measure it in degrees. So y'all are more familiar with that one. This one you're not familiar with. It's called radians. Not radius, radians there on the end. Not a radius. Radians is just another unit. Now, I'm going to compare these by saying, like if I had a ruler and I measured in inches and found how much, then I measured in centimeters and found how much. They're just two different units that do the same thing. Same thing here. These do the same thing. They're just different units of measure. This one is okay. This one's the one they always want to go to in trig, like most of the time. So that's why we got to get comfy with the radians. Today we're going to get comfy with degrees, though. We'll worry about radians later. So I'm going to focus in on degrees because within degrees you can break it down two different ways. You can look at it as a decimal. That would be like 27.5 degrees, no big deal, just got decimal. And they also like to use what they call degrees, minutes, seconds. DMS for short. So you can either be a decimal or degrees, minutes, seconds. Degrees, minutes, seconds is almost like their fraction version, if you want to think about it like that. So both of these are degrees. That's just, you could go either way here. So what we're doing today is we're focusing on how to convert from a decimal to DMS and DMS to decimal, because sometimes they'll want one or the other, and the calculator's going to do it. So this isn't a hard thing. Okay. All right. So we'll start off. Now, this is DMS. Notice, degrees, you see the little degree symbol. Here's the minutes. One little tick mark, that's a minute. And seconds. So degrees, minutes, seconds. So that's the notation. Minute, second, yeah, how about that? All right. So that's the notation there. So we're going to convert that to a decimal, and we're going to use the calculator. I'm going to write down the steps. I want you to write down the steps, and then we'll try the steps. Because 2 weeks from now, you probably won't remember this. So that's why I want to get it on paper. All right, first thing you need to do is put your calculator in degree mode. If you're not in degree mode, everything's going to be wrong because it'll give you the wrong number. So we're going to put the calculator in degree mode. Here's how. You need to do shift mode 3. To put it in degree mode, shift mode 3. And then you can verify it because it's going to have a little D on the top of the screen on the calculator, and that's degree. Now, if you weren't in degree, it could give it to you in radian and it'd be completely different. So that's why it's important. Okay. Now we're ready to type it in. So I'm gonna write the steps and then we'll calculator. All right. So we're gonna put the 34 in, and then you're gonna hit a button that looks like this: degree, minute, second. That button is beside the negative button. So if you got your calculator there, it's beside the negative button. So it's degree, minute, second. But we're not done, obviously, so no equals yet. So I would do 34, hit the button, 29, hit the button again, and then 19, hit the button again. And then equals, finally. So I'm going to let you get that. We're not done. We're not done, but I'm going to let you get through there. And when you get there, I'm curious to see what you see. So the problem, you see the problem. That's right. Okay. One more time, hit that button. One more on the degree, minute, second button, and you'll have your answer. All right, so let's do this. 34.48, let's round it to 3 after, so 48, and what's my last one? 8. Is it up? Wait, if I'm rounding it to the third place, would it be 8 or 9? 9, okay. I was just making sure, I was making sure I saw it. So this should be my final answer rounded to here. Make sure you see that, though. So what you've done is you took it out of DMS and you put it in a decimal. So here's what most people forget. When they hit equals, then they forget they got to hit that DMS button one more time. Oh. We good? All right. If you're good, do the next one. Type in the next one. Make sure. Why? Because I want you to remember the keystrokes, and that'll help you. So go to the next one, and you just start doing it. Round it to the 3 after the decimal again. We'll stick to that. I'll look. All right, so 250.821 degrees. That should be what you got. Make sure that is good. Now, while you're making sure and you're getting done, let me say this. When we're doing math, normally, we are on a base 10 system. Think about your metric stuff. When you move up or down the little staircase, when you're doing metric, you either multiply by 10 or you divide by 10. We are base 10. That's how decimals work. Now, when I'm in DMS, I asked this the other day when I did this lesson with 6th period a little early. Anyway, one person answered me this. This morning, nobody could tell me. I had to give them a hint. Let me see if somebody in here. What base do you think DMS is out of? Think about it.
60.
Very good. 60. 60. Why?
60 minutes an hour.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. 60 minutes in an hour and 60 seconds in a minute, he said. That's it. So here's what they did. Technically, you don't have to do this, but here's what the calculator's doing. It's dividing this 49 by 60, and it's dividing this 15 by 60, and it's combining those two together to get this 0.821. Notice the whole number stays the whole number. 250 is that's always going to be the case. But if you divided 49 by 60 and 15 by 60 and added them together, you should get that. That's where it's coming from, okay? Very good, Trip, on seeing that. All right, so let's go the other way now. Let's start out decimal and go to DMS. So I'll show you the keystrokes for this. So you're going to type in the 35.144. Don't have to put a degree sign. Don't have to, because you've already told your calculator you're in degree mode. So you got it covered. So no degree sign necessary. Then you're going to hit that same little button. Degree, minute, second button, and equals. Done. This one's even easier. So you type it in, hit your button, hit equals, and it should give it to you in DMS. So I know you got 35 degrees because that number always stays the whole number. How many minutes? 8 minutes. How many seconds? Thank you. That is right. This is easy, but you just need to get you need to get used to the notation and where the key is. That's it. All right, try the last one and make sure we're good. And then we'll be good. All right, so y'all got 8 degrees. How many minutes? 31. And how many seconds? All right. Well, I put degrees. I meant seconds. Very good. Now, I know time's running out, but y'all got that? If y'all don't get this today, you can get it tomorrow. But if you need to take a picture or whatever, there it is. Stop that. Or get it tomorrow.